When proteins are expressed by a given cell, they can be transported to specific regions of the cell, and so certain proteins may function in certain regions of each cell. Take this example, in which a cell lining the small intestine or a kidney tubule is reabsorbing sodium and glucose. The sodium-potassium ion exchange pump, which uses ATP to pump sodium out of the cell and potassium inside of the cell. These cells express this pump, but only in one region of the cell, the basolateral portion of the cell. That portion of this epithelial cell which joins the underlying connective tissue and is near this blood vessel. That way, when sodium is transported out of the cell, it is only pumped in one direction, into the blood vessel. In contrast, the apical layer of the cell, that which faces the lumen of the small intestine or kidney tubule, that can express sodium glucose symport pumps. Given that the first pump, the sodium potassium ion exchange pump, establishes a gradient where sodium is now moving from the tubule cell into the blood vessel. This symport pump takes advantage of this gradient and allows sodium to go from an area of high concentration to low, but only if a molecule of glucose follows it. Thus, glucose is absorbed from the lumen, taking advantage of this sodium gradient, and enters the cell. There are other facilitated diffusion pumps which will allow glucose then to enter the blood subsequently. And thus these epithelial cells lining either the small intestine or the kidney tubule express both the sodium-potassium ion exchange pump, but only at the basolateral membrane, and the sodium-glucose symport pump, but only at the apical membrane.